Welcome back to Central Valley Today. The Big Tell is a regional filmmaking program that offers grants for the production of short documentaries. This year, 10 filmmakers featured stories from California's Great Central Valley. And you can watch the Big Tell Showcase right here on KC24 Saturday, November 26th at 8 p.m. And that is where you can see this next film in its entirety. We take a peek into the film Non-Acknowledged. Let's take a look.
Ever since I was a child, my mother told me that we as a people would never be federally acknowledged as long as the name of our ancestral homeland was a pejorative. My mother passed away in 2013, and then I realized that it had been 160 years since our treaties had been broken with America. I hope that we don't have to wait 171 years for acknowledgement.
So joining us now is writer and director Raika L. Raintree, and your film is called, we saw a little bit of it there, your film is called Non-Acknowledged. So it's about a Central Valley indigenous man on his journey to rename his ancestral homelands and achieve tribal acknowledgement. So tell me how this idea came to you and how you met your subject matter.
I'm married to him.
Oh, I had no idea.
So he was working on renaming what's formerly known as Squaw Valley. And I said, you know what, this is a really good story. It'd be great if it was a documentary.
Yeah.
And then just out of nowhere, we got an email saying, hey, there's a competition. You should enter it, and you'll be able to make a documentary. So that's where the idea
I
came from.
love that idea. So how did you come up with the title?
That's actually the term for tribes that are non-acknowledged. So if you don't have, well, formerly known as federal recognition or state recognition, it's non-acknowledged now. So it's the same thing, different wording.
So what was the process like working with your husband, you know, and you're the director, you're in charge. So what was that process like?
He was very nice. He worked with me a lot. He understood I had a vision that I was trying to achieve, but at the same time I was bossier than usual. So he had to deal with that. So.
Yes, because what I have found working in this medium is that it's really, you do have to have a special skill to try and explain what is in your head, you know, because you have a vision for how you want this to play out on screen, and sometimes that's really hard to explain in language. So what were some of maybe the most difficult challenges you had to overcome while making your documentary?
Trying to get everything on screen to look like it did in my head. Yeah. What I saw in my head was not what came across the screen. I've never made a film before.
Okay.
Anything other than an iPhone film I've never done.
Yeah.
So, but we were blessed to have our mentor, who's Sasha Brown Rice.
Yeah.
She walked us through everything. We sent her versions of our film along the way. And then she would say, you know, try doing this, try doing that. But from day one, she kept telling me she understood where I was going with it. So that gave me a lot of confidence that she could see where I was going.
So what do you think about the process? Do you like it? Will you make another film?
I probably will if I had a crew.
Yeah, right?
Because, I mean, it's a small project, right? And so a lot of it was me learning to do lights and sound. That was stressful. But if there's an actual crew, I'd probably do it again.
Yes, but I think that, you know, the best way to learn the business is to be put in a situation where you actually have to produce a piece of work and say, okay, just go do it and figure it out. And so now you have a really good foundation. And so you can explain to people, you know, when you get your crew, all right, this is the look I'm going for, this is what I want, and it becomes a little easier. I wish we had my own crew here. What are you hoping that people get out of the film? So they watch Non-Acknowledged. What do you hope they walk away with?
I hope they walk away with an understanding of the difference between acknowledged and non-acknowledged tribes, and that they have a hunger to learn more. We use this as basically a catalyst for a larger project with much more information. Our film is only about 5 minutes long, so we'll be doing a much longer one in the future. So we just kind of want to pique people's interest and have them kind of research more about local tribes in the area.
What did you learn while making the film? Anything?
Everything. Everything from, you know, how lighting looks different on the camera through the viewfinder than it does when you actually play it back. Editing is probably the most arduous process ever.
It's very tedious.
Yeah, I learned quite a bit. Yeah.
How about the subject matter? I mean, did you learn anything about your husband? What did you walk
did. I learned he's a lot more patient than I thought. And I also learned that, you know, he's a really great public speaker, but for some reason, the moment you get the camera on him, he just tenses right up. And so I had to learn to not only help him relax as his wife, but I had to help him relax as, you know, the director. You know, when it's a documentary, it's your responsibility to help your subjects relax. And I realized, wow, that's a lot more difficult than it looks.
Right. And, you know, in storytelling, you want that subjective sound not to come from the director or from whoever is putting it together. You want it to come from the subject matter. Do you think that the story that you set out to tell is what you told in the final piece?
Yes, absolutely. And again, that was because I had guidance. I was able to say, this is what I'm trying to do. And then Sasha would let me know, okay, that kind of went a little left, turn it back to the right a little. So with all that guidance, yeah, I was able to get my story told.
What did you find out about the storytelling process working with your mentor?
A lot more planning has to go into it. Before you pick up that camera, there's so much more planning that has to go into it. And then also understanding that at some point you may have to throw out half of the film. And you may even have to start over, which we did twice. So sometimes you have to be willing to do that. If the story that you want to tell happens to go in the other direction, you got to follow the story.
Yes. In school, I had a professor that used to call that killing your baby.
Yeah.
And you love it so much.
I killed it twice.
I know, but sometimes it doesn't fit in. Well, I am really excited for people to see this story and see what you put together. A first-time filmmaker, Raika L. Raintree, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
Sharing your story. We appreciate it. Up here, it's a blast from the past. It's the Two Fair Ladies Renaissance Fair, how you can travel back to the Middle Ages after the break.